You ain't got your mic on. You gotta bring your mic close to the thing.
There we go.
What's poppin'? We back. Uh, we back with another episode. I think it might. Let me see. Let's move it like this, so it'll be like all in the camera, so people can still hear me.
Blessings, Jasmine. Blessings, Miss Mary. Thank you for joining us. Yes. Yes.
Oh, you know what?
What?
Ain't nobody gonna call. They better not call.
Oh, you didn't put your phone on Do Not Disturb?
Nah, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we're streaming from my phone right now. We gonna do better. I feel so good. Y'all know what? I like my intro video that I created so much. I'm gonna play it one more time for y'all, just so y'all can see it. And I'm probably gonna play it some more again throughout the stuff because we get new people come in, and I want them to see the video that I spent time on. That I actually spent time on making. It took me a long time. So here you go again.
That's dope.
I'm childish, y'all know. Y'all be all right. And I spelled love and transparency wrong, so I gotta get that back right. I'm gonna have to redo it, but I like it. But yeah, I spelled that wrong. You see that?
Oh Lord Jesus. Well, honey, you don't need to be doing that no more.
So what? My wife told me I don't need to do that no more.
I'm talking about you should have edited it before you just posted it.
Well, it's all good. They seen it. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Love and Transparency. Don't be getting on my thing talking about I can't spell.
What's up, DeAndre? Right, that part.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode. DeAndre, you want to talk on this episode? I can send you the link. Let's see what he say. Oh yeah, you might. What's today? Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he might have to work tonight. So yeah, and you probably ain't got no good camera. Anyway.
All righty.
But yeah, welcome to another episode of Love Transparency. Again, this is a podcast where we're talking about our marriage journey, what we've been through. And then even after that, we're just going to continue on. It's called Love and Transparency because we feel that everybody in life, everybody needs love, wants love, or needs to learn how to love. Transparency is because we're being transparent about the things that we're going through, the things that we're dealing with, the things that just being real. It's a lot of married couples that sweep things under the rug, a lot of married couples that not even just married couples, just people in general that don't like to be transparent about the things that they went through, especially when it comes to church. We all know people in church that sometimes, they want to act like they've been on the mountaintop 24/7, but that ain't true.
No, far from it.
That ain't true. We all got a story. We all done been somewhere. We all done something.
Right.
So that's what love and transparency is about. And for us as the Footmans, we're still at this particular time, we're still talking about our marriage journey, which has been exciting. We have been getting a lot of feedback. We've been getting a lot of we've been getting a little hate, little love, little, I don't know why you putting your business out there on the street. A little, are you afraid of the backlash that's gonna happen? We just been getting a lot of stuff. And we ain't even been doing this long. We only been doing it, it's only been a couple of weeks. Couple of weeks that we've been doing this, but that's how we know that this is God ordained. Otherwise, people wouldn't be talking about it at all. So it's good that we just have people talking about it that hey, as the movie NWA, all publicity is good publicity.
Not only that, this was something that the Lord has instructed us to do.
Jabbar.
Blessings to Bari. And so when the Lord instructs you to do something, you just got to be obedient. And so we wasn't going to do it at first, but when I tell you, like, there was like 2 confirmations within a week, I was like, okay, Holy Ghost, we're going to have to go ahead and do this. So we're thankful. Shalom. So we're thankful that we're on here just to maybe help somebody, to let somebody know that God is able to restore. He will give you instructions on what to do when you're going through in your marriage, because marriage can be rough, but the good thing about it is we have God on our side, and that he's able to carry us through and to bring us through. It's just about taking the proper steps, because we didn't take the right steps. We didn't take the right steps. We're still broken and dealing with some unresolved issues. So, but we're thankful today that we're able to say we made it through that. And we still, learning one another, learning our love language, sometimes that changes, and just different things in life when it comes to marriage.
That's very true. And so for the people that's on, if you could like it, and
love
it. And another thing, I don't want you to be selfish. So what I want you to do is share it. Share it with everybody. Don't be selfish. Don't keep it all to yourself. Share it. Get this thing out there. Get it. Because I'm trying to tell y'all, I'm trying to get Tyler Perry to see this, because our story can be a Tyler Perry movie. You just don't understand. Tyler Perry movie series or something. So if anybody know Tyler Perry, tag him. Tag Tyler Perry in this. This gonna be something, Tyler Perry movie now. You know what I'm saying? If you tag him and we get on, I give you some royalties or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, tear. What I say, tear. I mean, like, tag, and share to the Facebook family, to the YouTube family. Also, after this or doing this, please go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fearless Footman. As you seen the flyer, I'm pretty sure many of y'all seen the flyer. We calling it the Footman Net. Fearless Footman is like our head title. So this is a show under the Fearless Footmans, because we basically saying Fearless Footman Network. Because we already got like a couple of things going on. So it's like we just gonna put it under one umbrella. So this is love and transparency. This is one of our shows that we doing. My wife, she does her show on Tuesday, Simple Truth. I do my show. Well, not a show, but I have a podcast that come out every Tuesday called All Faith, No Fear. So we just put it all up under one umbrella. So that's why y'all probably seen the Footman Network, the Fearless Footman Network, just to give y'all some insight on the flyer that y'all seen with it. Y'all know, y'all might be like, what is the Footman Network? And who they think they is, who they think they got a network. Yes, we got a network. And if you want to be part of the network, just let us know. We'll put your show on our network too and give you a day. Because that's where we're going.
That's right.
So y'all got BET, MTV, the Footman Network coming next. And you got Tubi, it's going to be the Footman Network coming next. That's right. Network, baby. If Dre get himself together, we're going to get him a show too. But Lord, y'all got to be prepared for my brother's show. Ain't no telling what he going to talk about. We need to get him a sports show. He'll be good on a sports show.
Is DeAndre coming on?
DeAndre, do you want to come on? I can send you the link. He probably ain't going to come on. Y'all, my brother's something else. If he get on here, y'all going to be like, Rodney ain't saved. Right. I'm gonna be on Tubi going crazy. Oh my God. But anyway, he at a restaurant right now. He eating. Anyway, so where did we leave off at last time? What was we talking about last time? Because we didn't come on last week because we had church. We went to go hear
Bishop Younger.
Bishop S.Y. Younger. He was at our cousin's our cousins conference. What was it called? Intercessors on Purpose conference, which was a great night. Bishop Younger, he preached very well. Said a lot of good things that stuck with me. And so, that's where we was at last Friday. So that's why we went on last Friday. But we're here today. And
the last thing we talked about was the incident at the house. Was an incident that happened at the apartment.
Okay. Didn't we go further than that too, though?
That was about it.
We talked about the people. Did we talk about the people telling us not to be together and stuff like that?
No.
We didn't talk about the people telling. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. This is a good topic. This is what I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. Because I want to talk about church folks. Let's talk about church folks. You ready, baby? You got a blank look on your face.
I'm just listening, babe.
Let's talk about these church folks.
You got some emphasis all on that.
That's right. Because this is the part right here that I had to get healed from the most. This is the part that really, told me to pieces. It told me to pieces. Like I just could not understand. I didn't know. So let's get into it a little bit. So, of course, y'all know we've been talking about our marriage journey, and basically, we already talked about I cheated. We talked about our beginning of before we was married and how we came together. We still wasn't healed, how that spilled over into our marriage, and then how I began to cheat. And then, so the last one, we talked about the incident to where I got caught. If you missed it, you need to go back and listen to it. I got caught at the apartment and all that type of stuff like that. And so after I got caught,
you did talk about you being exposed. Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yeah, I talked about being exposed. I talked about when
you got that word.
When I got the word, the bishop gave me the word, and I ain't take heed, and then I got exposed, and then we talked about you putting the post up after that.
Right.
And then I think that's where we ended.
Right.
And then this is where we was gonna go into kind of like the forgiveness part, maybe. But I want to talk about these church folks. I want to put emphasis. Y'all don't understand. I want to put emphasis on this because I'm still getting delivered.
So I do remember. Well, before we talk about church folks, maybe we're not to do it today, but I do know that there was a comment made like, "How do you walk in forgiveness, and how did we overcome that?" So maybe we could talk about that next time because that was something that was brought to our attention.
Oh yeah, we could spill into that today. This is just gonna be a little short segment talk about the church folks because everybody already know how they. Well, I ain't gonna say how they are, but how some of them are. Not all of them, but some of them are. So we ain't gonna spend too much time on here. Again, if y'all have while we're talking, if y'all have any questions that y'all would like to ask us about our journey, about anything that's going on, please just type it in the comments and we'll get to it. We'll answer the question as quickly as possible.
Yeah, this is dialogue, conversation.
Yeah,
so that we can learn and grow.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it live so we can interact with you all. So please give us your likes, give us your shares, tag people and comment. Get them comments in there. Get them questions in there because again, we like answering questions because we don't mind. We don't mind answering questions about our journey because we've been through it already.
Right.
Tag them all. What that mean when you hit followers? That's everybody.
Yeah, I just been seeing it. It's like a trend. I guess it just reaches people. Maybe keep talking. I
don't know because that kind of interesting. I don't know if followers.
Go ahead, babe.
If followers mean everybody or just certain
everybody,
people?
Like they'll see it. It'll say like mention you in a comment.
Oh, it'll mention like your live thing will come up or something?
No, people will just see it.
Oh, okay.
Like people will see it like it is say at followers, so it goes to everybody. It is say mention you, not particularly your name, but it says at followers. Blessings to you.
Oh, and that's how you get people to come on? How can I?
Baby, only thing you just do is just say at followers.
Oh, I learned something new. I'm sorry. I learned something new. I'm shocked. I learned something new. At followers. But y'all, we're gonna talk about this. So basically after everything happened, everything transpired. So at the time we were separated. And how can I say this? We had so many people in our ears. As soon as people found out, we had a lot of people in our ears, saying this, saying that, saying this, saying that, and saying all that about. Yeah, I tried to make that rhyme, but it didn't rhyme. But we had a lot of people saying, like I had some people telling me that if I was gonna do it, I should have went out of town. I shouldn't have did it in my city. And I'm talking about leaders. These are leaders that I'm talking about. I ain't even talking about members in the church or anything like that. I'm talking about leaders in the church. I'm talking about pastors. I'm talking about people that are known very well that spoke to me and was like, well, if you're gonna do it, you should have done it. You should have went out of town. Or if you're gonna do it, you should have done it with someone that had as much as to lose as you do. And things of that nature. And again, like I said, these are leaders telling me that we was never ordained, told me that they knew that this was going to happen in the beginning of our marriage when we first got married. So it was a lot of people talking, a lot of people saying things, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people was in my wife's ear about me saying that she should have never married me. How I did. I mean, she could speak if she want to.
So I would say like whenever like after he cheated, I had more of the people were saying like, hey, that you can get a divorce off of that. Like it's in the Bible. Like, why stay? Like, why stay with him when you know what he's done? And I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Like, a part of me was like, yeah, you are totally right. Like, I totally agree because this did happen in the beginning of our marriage. So in my head, I'm like, well, dog, I was like, God, now you said this was my husband. Like, now what's going on? And then this time he had moved out with the female. And so a lot of things were playing on my mind mentally, like, okay, like, should I go ahead and just leave him? Like, what should I do? And so there were so many people in my ear, like, Chanel, you need to just get out of it. You don't have to stay. You don't have to stay in the marriage. It's not worth it. If he really loved you, he would have never cheated on you. And those things right there, like to me, I was already in a broken place because of what was going on, what happened in our marriage. But to add to that, I had Christians, people telling me, Chanel, go ahead and just leave, but I had to get.
You go ahead. Continue on.
Okay. And so, like, I would say this in the midst of that, I had to really seek God and I had to hear what God was telling me to do. So it didn't really matter what anybody else had to say. It's about what God told me to do. Hello, Paris and Nikki. And so in the midst of that, when I was like on my knees and like seeking God, God was like, don't move, you stay planted in your marriage. And that's when that came, like what God ordains, he will sustain. Blessings to you, Sister Diane, prophetess. So I was just at a place. Oh, okay, sis. Hey, sis. And so I was just at a place where I had to do what God told me to do. Like it didn't matter what people were saying. Even though I know my husband cheated, he done moved out with the female. I'm like, man, I felt like an idiot. I felt like I was just worthless. I felt hopeless. And I felt like I was just a nobody. I'm like, man, like, God, why are you telling me to stay? You know what I mean? Like, but I chose to be obedient Now, did I follow everything correctly? No, because I was just a broken mess. I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know how to cope with it. And it was just a lot to take on. And so I'm just thankful today that I listened to the voice of God, that I listened to what he said. And so one thing I want to encourage you all, people, not just married, well, yeah. So to married people and to others, that we have to remember that whatever God says, we gotta do it. We gotta do what God is telling us to do, no matter what anybody else says, especially when it comes to your marriage. If God is telling you, hey, stay planted, stay in this thing, don't move, watch me bring you through, he will give you a plan. He gave me a plan, but I wasn't trying to follow his plan. You hear me? You know, he was telling me to seek him, to start this book, start reading, start studying. You know, he was telling me, but I was just so wounded and so hurt. I'm like, God, like, not right now. Not right now. And so that's just the place that I was at. But it was a lot of talk. It was a lot of chatter. It was a lot of backlash. So even, you know, with family members, that was like, hey, Chanel, like, you know, you don't gotta stay in this. So
her family disliked me for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
So blessing Markeisha. So like we have to remember that whatever God tells you to do, stick with what God said. It don't matter what nobody else say.
Don't change it to
they may tell you that, hey, that's not the way that you should go and do it. Like, just go ahead and try it this way. No, we're gonna just do it God's way. Do it God's way. So we gotta be obedient to what the Lord says. And if I wasn't obedient, we wouldn't be here now. So blessings to you, woman of God. So we got to remember.
So our TLD family on.
Yes.
Sister London. What up, Jermaine?
So I said all that to say that there was a lot of chatter. There was a lot of talk after the adultery happened. And a lot of people was in our ears. At this particular time, I feel, this is just me, that people really should have been pouring into us, restoring us back to life, restoring us back into love, restoring us back to the place where there is hope. Instead of having hope, there was so much doubt, there was so much fear, there was just so much just indecisiveness, because we was like, we don't know which way to go. Like, shoot, in my head, I was like, shoot, I don't need Rodney. This the route he want to go. Go ahead. Bye. Deuces. Yeah, that part.
I almost said some words. What up, Zandy?
But you know, at the end of the day, we had to do it God's way. So dealing with church folks, like you just got to be careful. Of course, like again, like he said earlier, our business was exposed. So everybody, he said, let me say something.
No, we're gonna keep you in the comments, sir, for right now.
Blessings, sis.
But again, we're talking about church folks, and like from my perspective, what I like to, bring out is, how they always say they with you one day and they down the next, and I experienced that to the fullest, like to the utmost, of like the people that was cheering us on, like when we got married, before we got married, a little bit after we got married, and then soon as I ain't gonna say make a mistake, because it wasn't a mistake, it was a choice.
Yeah, a choice that.
Okay, I knew you was gonna say something on that. That's why I said that.
I know. Thank you, babe.
I was ready. I was waiting on you.
Thank you. Come on here. Yeah. Let me equip you.
Whatever. Anyway, I made a choice to step out on my marriage, and like making that choice to do that, like so many people, I felt like so many people turned their back on me. I felt like so many people mishandled me. I felt like so many people dropped me. I felt like I was all alone just because of something I had done, instead of actually looking at the sin, instead of looking at me, I felt like more people looked at me and what I did instead of the sin, and not really viewed me how God viewed me. Because
That's good.
just because we make choices does not mean that we are forever in that choice, if that makes sense. That my issue is not who I am. I put it that way. My issue is not who I am. It's just my issue. And
Ask you a question.
that's something I could be healed and delivered from. Go ahead.
So when you say like you felt like everybody like tore you down, do you feel that the reason why people was feeling that way was because they was affected as well? Like, do you think it was a lot out of hurt, out of pain? Like, why? You know, because that's immediately like what I thought when I know when there were certain people to say things that they was just hurt and they didn't know how to deal with it themselves. Like, man, like you, my brother, like, why? Because you know, this what happened to us just didn't affect us, but it affected people around us.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that 100%. But as believers, as he said, my 2 cents count. As believers, as believers, I feel the first thing you should do is look at it from a spiritual eye and not a natural eye.
But that doesn't always happen like that. And I know
I'm not saying it doesn't happen like that. I'm saying that's what should happen.
But
that it should be seen from a spiritual sense and not a natural sense. Because when it's seen from a natural sense, that means it's seen from your flesh. It's not seen and it's not viewed how God views it. Because we are human, we are flesh, so we do see things in the natural, not understand when things happen. When things happen, the first thing that comes up is the natural sense, is the flesh, how you feel about it, all that type of stuff. But then you should at least take a moment and be like, okay, God, what does this mean in the spirit? What is happening in the spiritual realm for this to take place? Then that way you won't speak so quickly on something when you know what's behind it.
The spirit behind it.
The spirit behind it, if you get what I'm saying. So that's why I feel like more people looked at me flesh-wise because of what I did instead of spiritual-wise.
Well, me, in my opinion, like looking from the church standpoint,
even
but I was
go ahead.
Even looking from the church standpoint, like if I was to see a married couple that just got married and then the infidelity happened and then you moved out with the person, like I probably would have been like, wow, really? Like, why did you have to stay stuck in that? Like, there should be some point of time, like you should be able to come out. You come into church every Sunday, and to them, their eyes is like, man, he don't feel, you a whole preacher. You don't feel no conviction about it. Because don't get me wrong, like I was there too. And so I think from their point of view, and I understand what you're saying, like, hey, we are, Christians, we are believers, but that hurt. That they was hurt.
Again,
Bishop Anderson said all of your trials were set up to get you to your real ministry. If you didn't experience it, you could not help others. People are people and we do people things. The plan was divine. Come on and say that again.
Very true.
But at that time, we didn't see that.
No. And at that time, I was hurt. And
well, hold on. I do know that God was planning something. I knew something had to come out of this for him to tell me to stay.
But what I'm saying is, as you said, like I was still coming to church. I was still doing all those things. I might have looked like on the outside. I might have looked on the outside like I ain't had no conviction, like I didn't care. But again, like I said, are you looking at it from a spiritual sense or from a natural sense? Because if you was looking at it from a spiritual sense, you would have known that I went in the place that I needed to be in. You would have known that I felt convicted. You would have known that I was how can I say it? I want to say under attack, or I wasn't in my right place or anything like that. But no, I ain't get none of that. That's what I'm saying. Even though I was coming to church, I was coming to church. I was coming.
Hey, Stephen.
What's up, Stephen?
Elder Mac. Okay, go ahead.
I was coming to church and wasn't getting spoke to.
But you was coming. But you also. Go ahead,
I was coming to church, wasn't getting spoke to. I was coming to church with all eyes on me. I was coming into church when, as soon as I come into church, people texting you, your husband here, blah, 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 blah. All eyes was on me, not a one. Not a one was like, can I pray? Can I pray for you? Not a one came up showing me love, giving me love. You were broken eternally, but it was covered up physically, naturally. See, there you go.
Right. But yeah, so yeah, like that's what I'm saying though, Rodney. So like we understand that. And I felt like that was something that really hit home to you because you felt like nobody was there.
Very true. And that's what I'm saying. Like they was with me when the celebration was going on. But soon as I failed and made the choice, there was nobody. I ain't gonna say there was nobody there, but 95% of the people wasn't there.
And I do want to like say this to y'all. Like, so Rodney always sits up towards the front. This is like something that like he always sits up at the front. And so when we started going through this, he would come to church late. He would go sit in the very back. Even in like the way he dressed, everything just changed. And so
I was tore up.
Yeah, right. So but I do want to explain that because a lot of times people be like, even though he was still coming, he was hurt, he was in pain, and it seemed like everything just changed. Like he was just in like a depression state. But of course, to me, I'm just like, come on, Rodney, like you in church every Sunday, like you can get through this. And me, let me tell y'all what I was doing. My dumb self was doing. Texting scriptures almost every day, saying what the word said, which the word do work. But at that moment in time, I didn't know that I just needed to allow God to work on Rodney. And while God was working on Rodney, allow God to work on me because I was broken. Rodney was broken. So it was just a whole broken mess.
But you was broken, but people was there for you. That's what I want to say. People was there for you. Just like Bishop said, we mask our pain and the church has failed to discern those bleeding in the congregation. And that's what I'm saying. Like I was bleeding. I was told out. If you knew I was in a place, but yet no one was speaking. Yet no. So this is why for me, like every time I come to church, like I make it my business to speak to everybody because I understand what it's like to come up in a church and no one speak to you. They just look at you like you crazy. Like they ain't known you for years. Like you ain't been coming to this church. Like you wasn't one of the leaders in the church and you just made a bad choice. And you made a bad choice. And so by you making a bad choice does not mean everyone turn their back on you.
Yeah. And sometimes that is how it is sometimes in the church. Especially when it comes, let's just be real, when infidelity happened and it's in the church, and it was a rough season because we went through this for almost like 7 months, 6 or 7, about 7 months. We went through this. And so I do remember like Rod used to be like, hey, nobody's there for me, but I'm going to tell you something about me. I am somebody that opens up. I talk about things that I'm dealing with. My husband, you ain't finna get nothing out of him. And half the time you didn't really want to talk to nobody anyway. But I understand your point is that, hey, they should have, you were also in pain and wanted to fix what only God could fix. Many times those who judge your wrong have their own hidden wrongs that haven't gone public yet. Come on here, Bishop.
I don't know if that's Bishop or First Lady because it sounded like both of them.
DeAndre say, perfect example, Perry Noble. That's true. Blessings to you, Prophetess Rosa Carr. So that's the place that we were at. And like I said, if anybody has any questions, it's Bishop. Bishop, if y'all went to the restaurant, we'll bring you on live. Now Bishop Genovese was one of the ones who really poured into us, that was really just getting us together, was most definitely getting me together, snatched me all the way. First Lady Genovese, whoo, she coached me through. Come on here. But yeah, go ahead, babe.
But yeah, that and that's just what I wanted to hit on just a little bit, because I understand, like, I've been in a place.
Isolation plays a key part in your development and deliverance. All of these things had to happen. The people were only playing the part to prick your spirit, to get you to accept your own sins. That's good. Bishop.
I don't know Bishop Anderson now. Somebody could have said, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to this situation, like, this is a very touchy situation with me, because I still sometimes now have a hard time trusting church people, because it's like, and I need to get deliverance, and this is something that the Lord has to help me from and deliver me from, because even to this day, if I fall today or tomorrow, in the back of my head, it's like, are they gonna do me like they did me last time? And that is, and I know some people gonna have something to say to this, but that is honestly a fear of mine. That and even when it comes to some people saying, that we're going into pastoralship, and we call to be pastors and stuff, that is a fear of mine. That is something that frightens me from being a pastor, or frightens me from having responsibility over sheep. If I fall, are they still gonna be with me? Are they gonna turn their back on me? Which I know it comes with the territory and all that type of stuff. But I'm just being transparent right now, because, like, I could say that's one of the reasons why I stay on the straight and narrow. One of the reasons, of course, God and my relationship with Him keeps me on the straight and narrow, not wanting to do anything. But some of that is fear of, if people will, still stick by me, even if I'm going through a trial, even if I'm going through something, even if I fall today or tomorrow, like, are the people still gonna be with me?
Sometimes it takes the tough love in order to break us, so we can see ourselves, in order to help ourselves. Now come on here, Bishop Genovese. Now that was the truth. See?
So the bishops want to talk tonight. I tell you.
And listen, I also want to say this though. Like, I understand, like, we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna, make these poor choices. But the thing about it is, we don't stay stuck there. We don't stay stuck there. And sometimes people stay stuck in that place when like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, that can be aggravating, and that can be frustrating.
What you mean, for the other person or for the person that's going through?
Both. It can. Like, even for the other people that's looking on the outside, like looking at us, what we was going through at that moment, at that time in 2020, like, they probably was like, why haven't Rodney came out of this? In my head, I was trying to figure out the same thing. I was praying, seeking God's will. But guess what? I know one of the things that I failed at is I didn't take my hands off of it.
But I was blind. That's what you got to understand. You could pray for somebody all day until I see it, until I made the decision.
Because I don't understand. This was where I was at. God will keep you from you, so you're not codependent on them, or you're forced to turn to the Lord. Now that is the truth. And I don't know, like, at that time, even though I knew that you were blind, well, you say that you were blind, but in my head, I'm like, well, what made you keep coming to church? And there was no change.
What made me keep coming to church? You want to be honest?
Yeah.
I was raised in church.
So it was just something that you was just accustomed to.
It was something I'm accustomed to being in church. Not saying that's the case now, but ever since I was a little boy, my grandma had me in church. Period. Every Sunday, I knew to go to church. Even if I wasn't in a good state, if I wasn't where I needed to be.
His love for God. That was a good answer.
Yeah. Even though I knew where I knew if I wasn't in the right place, my grandma always instilled in me to go to church, because you never know, that word for that day can be that word that could change your life.
That's right.
So I was always instilled to go to church no matter what. I don't care what you're going through, what you in, what you've been through. I was instilled to go to church. And that's just
because we make a mistake doesn't take our relationship away from his house. That's good. Look at the prophets and the disciples. They were constantly messed around by people, but they stood and continued. Your trust is in God, and he imparts power and trust in you. He is love, and that keeps you and gives you what you need to keep going. I was raised, yes. Listen, that was good.
Yes, man. I was raised in church. But
so, that's
go ahead.
So did you like feel convicted? Like, did you feel like, I want people to know, like, sometimes even if you in church, like he said he was going because he was accustomed to. So even while you were in church, like, did you feel any type of conviction? Did God like speak to you at any moment? It was like, hey, Rodney Putman, like, hey, it's like, hey, I'm giving you a sign. Was there any like signs that God was giving, that God gave to you? Like, hey, you're not in the right place.
I got plenty of signs. I got plenty of signs. Don't mean I took heed to the signs.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I want people to be able to see, like, sometimes you can still be in church. God can still give you a sign, and we just ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, prime example. Pastor preached on me for about a month. So there were signs, there was words, there was. It's the truth. I ain't ashamed about somebody preaching on me, because preaching on me will help you get delivered. Ask your bishop. You know he did.
Yeah, Bishop Genovese, you preached. Yeah, he did.
But what I'm saying is there was signs, there was words given to me, there was people speaking to me. I chose to ignore all of those, and I chose to keep doing what I was doing. I was running, my flesh was running me and running me wild. Oh, excuse me. So yes, I had signs. Yes, I was tormented at night. Yes, I couldn't sleep. Yes, I would go places and try to hide, not to be seen. And God will keep my pastor name right.
But that's I don't want to hear that. Yeah.
But going back, yes, there were signs. Yes, anytime I would go somewhere, try to go out of town, not to be seen, guess what? Somebody that I knew from church was seeing me, asking me, why was I so and so? Ain't you with so and so? Ain't you this? So there was many a signs. There was plenty of signs for me to turn and get myself together and get right. But I ignored all of them. And to be honest, I thought it was all coincidence. Honestly, I would go to places, and y'all think I'm lying. I would go to places. I tried to drive all the way to Atlanta. I tried to go to Charlotte. I tried to go to Asheville. I tried to go anywhere I could where I knew a lot of people weren't going to see me. But guess what? Somebody always see me. Always. Like, I couldn't go nowhere without somebody from church seeing me and looking at me like, Negro, what is you doing?
And that goes to show you that when you in sin, you can't run from sin. He was just telling you, him and the female was traveling to Asheville, traveling all these places, and still, hey, was seen by one person. It only take one person.
I'm telling you.
You know, and so we have to make sure that we deal with that. Go ahead.
And to be honest, I'm gonna tell y'all how petty I was. I would pray God hide me so won't nobody see me. Y'all, I was petty because I wanted to do what I wanted to do.
Blessings to you, fam.
And how many of you know God is not going to agree with your sin? That is a word right there. I'm gonna preach that.
Go ahead and preach that, baby.
God don't agree with your
sin. Apostle Glover's on. Blessings to you,
fam. Sup, cuz? What up, cuz? My other cuz was on here too. Ray Sean, he was on here. I ain't speak to him. We see, but yeah. So
if y'all do have any questions, just make sure you put it in chat, and we don't mind answering.
Yeah, we don't mind answering questions if y'all got questions. It might be some tough questions. It might be like, why you ask that? But we gonna answer them. But
like Max say, that's tough.
But yeah, just to yeah, that's basically the place I was in.
The conviction is real. Listen.
Yeah. So like that's the place that I was in. Like I wouldn't listening to nothing nobody had to say. I mean, as you say, even coming to church, not saying that I wasn't feeling convicted, not saying that I wasn't feeling guilty or anything like that. But when I walked in church, I really walked in with a don't care attitude because I felt like if the people didn't care, why should I care? And it was a wrong way to look at it because at the end of the day, the relationship is between me and God and not me, people and God.
That's right.
So yeah, but again, hey, y'all pray for me because I'm still asked for delivery. Where you going to, man?
I'm stepping to the restroom.
Oh, well, say that then.
Maybe because you were talking.
It don't matter. But anyway, y'all, she done left. But anyway, yeah, that's the place that I was in. And so yeah, when my wife asked me that question, like, did you? Yes, I had plenty of signs. And I want to let y'all know that, and that's just a testament to show you like how far sin would take you, like how far you can go in sin to the point to where you ignore how it hardens your heart towards God. It hardens your ears, like you don't even want to hear anything that has to come from God because of what you're going through and what you want to do and what how you want to do it. So like literally I was coming to church. Like wasn't nothing wrong. I was coming to church, coming in there like with my head held high and sat on the opposite side of the side my wife sat on. And the female, she sat in the back. And so yeah, that's how we were. We all was up in there. Lord have mercy. Just thinking about that. Good God Almighty. We all was in there. You gonna drink this water? You take a pause break for that one. Whew. Lord have mercy. You all right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know, my wife give me them looks sometimes. I don't know whether she thinking or what.
So, white baby, can you? Oh my goodness!
I'm thirsty.
You can at least just lean over there, just all up in the camera.
Okay. I'm drinking water. I was thirsty. I was thirsty, but yeah, you in the dead spaces, you supposed to be talking when I can't talk.
But that's what I was getting ready to say. I was trying to tell you, like, you all up in the camera, just gawking down the water.
Oh. What time is it?
But yeah, we all were in there, and that was just a hard time. Of course, there was a lot of chatters, as he said, a lot of people talking, and
running their mouth. Didn't even know what was going on. And see, that's another thing about church folks that I don't like eating. They run their mouth and don't even be knowing what be going on. Just be talking.
But that's just not church folks. That's just people in general.
That's people in general. But church folks, what Pastor preached about the other Sunday. Say folks don't act like that.
Yeah. Talked about the Absalom spirit too.
Yeah. Say folks don't act like that.
Baby, you gotta get healed from this.
I do. I need healing.
Yes.
Bishops, I need y'all come pray for me.
The question remains, how many in the pulpit and the pews are also trapped in the same situation, bound where deliverance is available, but fear and shame keeps us from seeking the help we need.
Very true. Now that sounded like a first lady question, Bishop. I'm sorry.
Don't do Bishop like that.
I love Bishop, and that is so true. Cause again, like Bishop, again, I was in shame. Yo, I was in so much shame to the point to where I felt like even if I did go to the altar, like I wouldn't be forgiven. I felt like that even if I did, repent, all that type. Knowing, and what the thing about it is knowing God and knowing all the things that He had done for me from the time many times before. Like the devil just had it in my mind that it didn't matter if I was to go. Like that's how he kept me from. I'm just gonna turn it over to her from here on. That's how much he played on my mind to keep me. He tricked me from believing that I couldn't be delivered in the place that I was in. That I couldn't be delivered. And so I just want to say, like, if you ever get to that place or ever feel like that is a lie from the pits of hell. There is no place that God cannot pull you from. There is no place that He cannot deliver you from. There is nothing that you have done that He cannot heal you from and turn your situation around. Because I'm telling you, I was there. Like literally, I would not go to the altar. My heart was cold. Like as soon as church was over, I was out the door. My pastor would have to stop me and try to give me a hug because I ain't want to speak. I wasn't trying to speak to nobody because I ain't feel like nobody wanted to be bothered with me. I didn't feel like, I felt like I was thrown away. I felt like I was thrown away. I felt like nobody cared. I felt like nobody wanted to see me be delivered. And so, and that's just where I was at. Of course I had like one person, two, I say three. I say my wife too, but I wasn't trying to hear nothing she had to say at the time. And that's just being real. Like I didn't want to hear nothing she had to say at the time because it wasn't that she was saying the wrong thing. It was just her delivery and how she was saying it, how it was coming about. Because it came off to me as badgering instead of, even though I knew it was coming from a good place, it still came at me like she was badgering me.
And plus, you didn't want to listen because the sin felt good to you. That's what you felt because you sure didn't come back home.
So this is what I want. No, this is what I want to say to that. That's not necessarily true. Because the truth is, I didn't know how to come back home.
Okay.
It's the truth.
Well, I guess my thing is this. Why move with the female and you stay there with her? If you really was trying to, like, even though you say you was in a bad place, why didn't you move with a family member? Why go stay with her? And sometimes y'all, they will come in here go in there with matching outfits on.
No, that's a lie.
Y'all did have
we
some.
Didn't have no matching.
Y'all had tummy hair figures. They would come in at different times. Oh yes, sweetie, I remember that.
Oh no, I ain't gonna lie about that. We'll come in at different times. Cause
y'all did have a matching outfit. I remember.
We ain't never had no matching outfit.
They did. They might have was. Babe, I'm just telling you.
We ain't had no matching outfit. We might have both had on the same type of designer, but it wasn't the same exact shirt, pants. That's what I mean as matching.
Yeah, he was blind. He didn't see, but it's all right.
Oh my God. I got 4 eyes. I wasn't that blind.
Okay. Sometimes we're not delivered because we don't want to be delivered. We like where the devil has us.
That's right. And I ain't like it. I loved it. That's not.
That ain't even nothing to be.
It's the truth. The truth that set you free. I loved my sin when I was in it. I ain't gonna flex. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed so much. I mean, even with all the signs, even with all the torment I was going through in my mind, I still felt like that was a better place where I was at for me than going back home. Just to be honest. Yeah, that water is good. Whew. Man, you're a little quiet tonight.
Man, I'm just listening to you. You get stuff off your chest. I'm just letting you talk.
You a little quiet tonight.
I'm not quiet. I'm just listening.
Yeah, whatever. Y'all type in the comments if Chanel quiet tonight.
It is not that. It's just I'm just letting him get off his heart. Because to me, just from my point of view, just from when I was in it, and I understand like his target right now is like, hey, like the church folks, they wasn't there, they hurt me, and I understand all that, but just it was just a rough place, I believe, for everybody, because I do believe that when things happen in the church, especially when you are a leader, you know, it does affect everybody. And I think people's point of view was like, well, dog, like, Rodney, you supposed to, well, you know what? Let's not even say that. Just Chanel. I'm like, you know, you're my husband. Like, I know that what God said, because Rodney always say like, hey, God didn't tell me that. And I'm not staying. He was already done. He was already technically, like, he even told me like, hey, I'm gonna get the divorce. Like, I'm gonna go and do it. Even went to the courthouse.
I was out of there.
And even when he was doing that, I was like, well, that's not what God said. You know,
I was like, you heard.
And so
wrong.
I had to just stick with what God said in the midst of this. So again, I said this earlier. We have to be obedient to what the Lord tells you to do. Even though my husband was telling me like, hey, I don't want this marriage.
So did.
I don't want you. I'm in a, well, he didn't say a good place, but he was just like, he's just doing his own thing. And technically he like just cut me off for a period of time. And I had to, you did.
I wouldn't say I cut you off.
Rodney,
Chanel, you was still texting me every day.
And Rodney, you wasn't even responding. You was
doing
doing
what you were saying the same stuff every day.
But guess what? This is my thing, because I was hurt. That's true. It should be unity in the church, not separation, right? I mean, but hey, it happened like that.
Oh, the church wasn't separated. They was unified with Chanel.
They was not unified with me, Rodney. Rodney feels that way, but it was not like that. You looking at it that way because of where you was at and because of your sin. You gotta get healed from this. Point blank period.
We're gonna leave it at that because
he felt like everybody was for me, and it really wasn't like that.
Oh, it wasn't?
No.
Okay.
It really wasn't.
Everybody went for you.
Yeah, like everybody wasn't, Rodney. You just feel that way. Y'all gotta stretch your hands towards my husband, because we're gonna have to have some prayer like right now, so he can deal with this hurt from the church.
Nigga,
well, I ain't gonna say church. I'm gonna say it was just people. Some people.
Yeah, it ain't church. It's just the people in the church.
Yeah.
But yeah, I recall differently. I recall them being for you and against. I ain't gonna say they was against me, but they weren't really caring for me.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I know that I was hurting. You was hurting as well. But guess what? I still chose. I wanted to be healed. I wanted to be set free, because I know I was dealing with brokenness. And to me, you would just come and sit in the back, and like as soon as church is over, like you just leave. To me, I felt like you really didn't want it. Like your desire wasn't like, hey, I want to like deal with me. And I want to say this to anybody. I want to say this. It shouldn't matter what anybody else say. If you need to get to that altar and deal with you, that's between you and God. You got to deal with it. We can't. And I know like it was hard for me, because I will always be like, man, what are they going to say? how they gonna view me, what they think of me. Even in the marriage, I was thinking that, you know, and I know like right now, looking back, like I should have been more just sticking to what God said. And I did when it came to our marriage, but sometimes my emotions got the best of me. Sometimes mentally, I was ready to give up. I was ready to throw in the towel because it just wasn't easy. I wish I could say, y'all, like, hey, like I even asked right now, I'm like, man, I just wish this didn't last as long as it did, but it did. You know?
That's right. But again, I do feel like they was for you and they went for me. And you ain't gonna tell me otherwise.
Yeah, because you're stuck on it. That's fine.
Not during that period of time. I'm just, hey, that's just what I felt, and that's what I experienced, and that's what I seen. I lived it. You know when somebody for you and when they ain't for you. You know.
Baby, you wasn't even for yourself either.
That's all right. You take up for them people.
But I'm not taking up. I honestly believe that they was just hurt as well. They was hurt, Rodney. I know it's no excuse.
No excuse.
It's no excuse.
Somebody give me the scripture where it says restore your brother. Give me that scripture. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
So let me ask you this question. So even if someone is praying for you to be restored, don't you have to have a choice to say, hey, I want to be restored. I want to get right. I want to live right. I want to please God. Let me get out of this. Even to the point where something didn't click in your mind, like let me move out of this female's house and go move in with a family member while I'm going through that. No, you stayed at that house for almost 6 months.
Again, what does that matter?
To me, that makes, I feel like.
No, I'm saying, what does that matter? What does that have to do with how the people treated me?
I think that sometimes they probably can sense like, hey, he's still in this place.
What does that? You still show love. Period. I don't care what place somebody else is in. If you are of the fold, you are supposed to show love no matter what place somebody's in.
Well,
no
yeah,
matter what.
But I'm not talking from that.
That's what I'm talking about. What point of view are you talking about? What point of view are you talking about?
Go ahead, babe.
No, I just want to know what point of view are you talking about so we could be on the same page.
Nothing. Go ahead, babe.
Just say your
No,
point.
I'm just saying, like, there should have been something, even that you were saying, like, hey, I know that you said that you were blind and you were going through this, but in my mindset, I'm just like, was it something not there to tell you, hey, let me get out of this female's house. Let me at least just start working on me.
Didn't I just said that I love the sin that I was in. And I kept getting I kept getting signs, but I was ignoring them. Did I not say that?
Yeah.
So again, you keep saying that what made me stay there, like you keep asking that question. If I'd have stayed there, we wouldn't be here today.
But I'm saying, like, during those couple of months, like I'm talking about when it comes to the people in the church, because that's really where it all came from. That's why I was getting those text messages. Like, I was in the front, so I really didn't know when you came in. I didn't know when you came into church, or even if you was coming to church. They'd be like, your husband is here. And that's something you didn't like either.
Yeah, because what was the purpose? You was gonna see me regardless. What was the purpose? That's what I want to know. What was the purpose of people texting you? Hey, your husband.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I do know that there was an individual that would text me and say that you were there, and they say, keep it together. Don't break down, because I was breaking down almost every Sunday. I feel like everything was just crumbling down. When it came not only to our marriage, to our finances, just a lot of things. And it was just affecting every area. I mean, And so I know there was an individual when she texted me, she was like, listen, let's keep it together. But in your mindset, because you're still not healed, you still gonna look at it from a place of like, they was just texting. You need to heal. Listen here, you need healing. Say that again.
All right, Miss Miller. I know I need healing. I do. I 100% admit that I need healing. I admit it 100%. Your boy needs some healing. Cause it happened back in 2020 and this is 2023.
And people still talk about it to this day.
But it still hurt a little bit.
And I can tell it does.
It still stings a little bit. Cause again, like I said before, I still have that trust factor when it comes to church people. Because if I fall today or tomorrow, what's gonna happen? And I'm not even saying fall, excuse me, in that same thing that I did, but just fall, period, in any area of my life. What's gonna happen?
I do know that once you get healed from this is gonna help you to really trust. You gotta first of all, we gotta put all our trust in God.
And I figure you say the Bible say trust no man.
Trusting God. I'm talking about trusting in Him to help you overcome this, because you're still stuck in the mindset, well, whenever something bad happened, oh, they're gonna just drop me like they did, or they're just gonna walk away. But that's not gonna be the same case. It's not gonna be the same case. And I do believe that when God deals with you, Rodney, you're gonna have a different viewpoint. But when you're in a broken place and when you're not totally healed from it, you still talking from that place of hurt.
But I can say I'm a little bit here because I wouldn't do that to nobody else. The way I got treated or the way I felt like I was dropped or something like that, I wouldn't do that to nobody else.
And so that actually taught you something.
Yeah, I mean, of course it taught me something, because I don't ever want nobody to feel the way that I feel. I don't ever want nobody to feel like they don't have nobody in their corner. Because at that particular time, I only felt like I had like two people in my corner.
And my husband said that, y'all. Like, even he said that like through the process.
I did.
He was like, babe, you had people there. You know, you had people there for you, but I didn't have nobody. Nobody called in and checked on me. Nobody said anything. And I did ask my husband, I was like, well, do you reach out to somebody? He said no.
So, who was I gonna reach out to?
I mean, there were people you could have reached out to.
Ooh.
I mean, somebody.
Man, look here. I had the one person I need that helped me through. And I thank God for him.
Well, you just didn't have him. You had some others too. Some people you just didn't choose.
They weren't talking to me. They should have been reaching out instead of me reaching out. That's how I feel. That's just me personally. I might be wrong on that, but hey, it is what it is.
Y'all see that this is just a wound, and I felt like it's just getting stabbed at right now. Like, you gotta get healed, which is okay. And it is the truth. Blessings to you, Sky. And so, excuse me, sir. Some of us check. Thank you. That's what I was trying to sit there and tell Rodney.
I said
no. You said one person. There were people that checked on you. You just chose not to listen.
Listen here. I could count on 4 fingers the people that checked on me.
Okay, but that's more than one.
Okay, Bishop was one of them. Bishop was getting me together. I wasn't always listening, but he was getting me together.
Yeah. So you can't say people wasn't there. You just sometimes chose not to listen.
What I'm saying is, I'm saying from my church. I'm talking about church, my church. Yeah, because I named the people. It was Bishop. I ain't gonna name what Bishop on here. It was Bishop.
And just say some others that checked on you.
Yeah, I ain't gonna put nobody's names out like that.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that
because I will.
Because we're not. That's not godly. That's not godly. So that right there, babe. Come on here.
I'm just saying.
Hey, Stephanie.
I'm just saying.
But even in all of that, the things that we went through, there was still a purpose in it. We're here today. Come on here.
Yeah, we here today.
And our story is still talked about, whether it's a good or bad. Like still today, people talk about, do y'all know what the Footmans went through? Do y'all know that he did this? And I'll be like, well, no. You know, like things will get back to us. But you know,
it's an iconic story. We iconic.
I guess like I'm like, dog. But at the end of the day, like I'm thankful that even though that we was broken in front of the church, our marriage fell apart in front of the church. Guess what God did? Restored us back in front of the church.
Mm-hmm.
So even though my husband, he's just,
I really am feeling some type of way. I need some healing.
Yeah,
I really am feeling some type of way when I think about the situation and I think about.
And it's okay. Counseling will help. But think about it though. When people go through things in church, and I heard this numerous times, people like, man, the church really hurt me. I don't want to go back to the church because I do know.
I ain't want to go back.
I do know, like, there's somebody that I actually share my testimony with a couple of married women. And one of the things that the female said is like, I was brought up in church. And I know the power of God, but the people in the church hurt me so bad because they wasn't there for me. I totally rejected the help of God because of people, because of the people in the church. And so now at that time, she had the viewpoint, well, I'm not going to go to no other church because they going to do me the same way these people did me.
Okay.
And so
tell you what, people.
and so with that being said, is that y'all, we do have to be. I mean, I know that Rodney's saying like right now, like, hey, he needs to be healed. And I'm glad, I'm happy that you can acknowledge that, because we do have to acknowledge that, hey, I'm still hurt from this.
What's today?
I'm still dealing. October.
It's Friday?
Yes.
Bishop, y'all having prayer tonight? I might need to come get delivered tonight. If y'all still having midnight prayer, I might need to come get delivered tonight, because Lord have mercy.
And y'all have to understand that when you go through things, not just in the church, but when you deal with circumstances in life, sometimes you're not going to be just healed right there on the spot. Sometimes healing is a process. We got to make sure that we deal with it. This was back in 2020. And we know, even doing love and transparency, like us getting on here talking, like it's going to ruffle some feathers. We're going to see things inside of it.
Care about them feathers?
Well, you caring about them today.
And I wish they would say something.
I'm not just talking about that,
babe. I'm just saying.
Babe, it's okay.
No, I'm just saying. I don't care about no feathers getting. This is our story.
But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say that.
I still love y'all, but I'm just saying.
I'm still trying to just say that maybe you could sit down and talk to some of the people. They may see it from a different perspective. Come on, Stephanie.
Ain't gonna happen.
And see, that's one of the things you see. Like I tried to tell my husband before. I'm like, babe, like just talk. One of the individuals that you did talk to, they said like, hey, I was hurt and I was in the wrong. Like, and you talked to that person.
I did.
So
one.
No, well, yeah. But what I'm trying to say though, Rodney, is that we knew that us doing this, we're walking in obedience, doing what God called us to do. I do feel that there will be times where we will get on and be talking, and then you notice like, dog, I'm still struggling with this. Dog, I'm not all the way healed from this.
Oh, I knew I went healed from that. That's why I was so much emphasis in the beginning, because I knew I went healed. I know I still need some deliverance, because again, I get what you're saying, but for me, as a child of God, and for me now looking back on it, I just honestly feel the way I was handled was wrong, and I would never want to make the mistake of handling somebody the way I was handled.
And that is true.
And
I
I
agree.
and I would want to treat them way differently than how I was treated.
That's like going to the hospital and they see that you have Rodney. It's like you go into a hospital and they see that you are dealing with a sickness and they see maybe you've been shot and they see all the blood just coming out of you and they just turn you away. They don't try to be there to help aid to your brokenness. So I do understand your point of view. Like when you go to the church, like, yeah, it is a place where they always say church is like a hospital. You know, you should be able to go in there and people should be able to restore you and love on you. But of course, at that time, Rodney just felt like nobody really showed him love, like nobody really showed up.
It wasn't until I apologized. That's when I got cheers again. When I apologized, oh, baby, we knew you was a man of God, and we knew God was. Nigga, I don't want to hear none of that. I just got in my feelings again. I'm sorry. Because when I was down in the trenches, I ain't hear none of that. As soon as I apologize and I'm back on the mountaintop, oh, you're with me now. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're going to stick with me through it all. Through the good, the bad, the ugly. Cover me. Don't expose me. That's just how I was taught. You cover, you don't expose, and you there. And I ain't get that.
And I do believe that you have to give people grace because they probably didn't know how to handle it. There are a lot of preachers, a lot of leaders. There's people, but babe, I know you don't
pray.
Listen, right.
If you don't know how to handle it, pray.
But Rodney, there's been things that you didn't know how to handle either. And you had to learn. I mean, there's the circumstances, just period, point blank. And right now, I just feel like you're just talking out of a broken place right now. So
okay.
And you just gotta be healed. But some of the stuff that you are saying is true. I understand that.
Keep talking. I gotta go to the restroom.
Oh, okay.
I'll be back, you guys. I shouldn't have drunk all that water.
But even with that, dealing with your wounds of somebody that have hurt you, and maybe it has been in the church. I know he was talking about just church folks, but truth be told, it's more than church folks that hurt us. But in the church, you do supposed to look, to be restored back to life. And I can understand his point of view, where he's at. And like he said tonight, like, hey, I got to be healed from this. And so I just want to encourage you all that if you are dealing with something to the magnitude of feeling like somebody might have treated you wrong, I handled you wrong, you need to pray about it first and talk to God about it and get a counselor. And even like my sister Stephanie said, go to that person and talk to them. Don't continue walking in that bitterness. Don't continue walking with this grudge. Don't continue just staying in that place where, man, they just hurt me. And sometimes you just got to go to that person and say, hey, what you did hurt me. How you handled me hurt me. Now, I ain't going to say that was everybody in the church, but a couple of them, yeah, okay. But let's talk to them so we can deal with it, so we can get to the root of it. And so I do believe, like Bishop Anderson said, that everything happens for a reason. And this has taught us, that when somebody falls, how to love them, how to pick them up, how to try to restore them back to their place. Not to just sit there and badger them, try to judge them and say, hey, you was wrong. They know they was wrong. But how do you pull them out? How do you pull that person out? Walking in that forgiveness, showing that person love, really just going what the Bible say. Love, showing that the love of God can help that person get delivered, can help that person get free. Love can also, it not only just helps restore, but it will bring them back to their senses. when you can walk in the place of love, loving your brother when they have failed, loving your sister when they have done wrong, loving them and bringing them back to life. Love. And one of the chapters that I just love is Hosea. Hosea. God, listen, during this time, when we were going through this, God gave me that Hosea. And I've never really studied Hosea until we started going through.
Yeah, she tried to say I was a hoe. She tried to say I was the prostitute.
Well, honey, you was out there doing
what's But I tell you, bro.
But listen, but when I look at that story about how God just restored, like it was so much. So y'all got to read that. Like the book of Hosea really helped me, and it just shows even to the day, like how God will love us, that He will bring us back to the place where, hey, I want to deal with you. I'm going to restore you, and watch God do it. But I'm telling you, Hosea really helped me. I did have like a few people that was really just able to be in my corner. Like I didn't have like that amen corner like, hey, Chanel, put your mouth, man. It was Jordan. Guess it came unexpected.
It did, but I was trying to cover it up. You just gonna call it out.
Well, that was kind of like way out there. But you made me forget my train of thought.
It wasn't meant to be said anyway. I'm just playing.
So that was rude.
But anyway, you were saying about Hosea, you were saying about you didn't have an amen corner. That's where you was at.
I didn't always have an amen corner like Rodney thinks so.
Man, please.
There were people that were still.
She had an amen. Y'all listen to what I'm telling y'all.
There wasn't everybody, but listen,
every
Rodney,
Sunday.
Rodney, but everybody still wasn't like, hey, it wasn't like that though, Rodney. There were people that would still be like, hey, Chanel, like this is like, no. There was people that will put me in my place, and I'm thankful for those certain individuals. You're just talking out of a place of hurt right now, and so
don't say I'm talking out of a place.
But you are, because
I'm talking out of a place of experience.
And everybody was not on my side.
I experienced this.
I've experienced it too. We both was there.
I was in the trenches. You was on the mountaintop.
I was not on no mountaintop, honey. I was in a desert with no water.
You was not in no desert
with no water.
And if you didn't have no water, you had plenty of people bringing you drinks of water.
Not everybody.
You had more than me.
Y'all, this is a topic that he chose. This is a topic. Can you move? Okay, because you baby, you were shaking that. So this is the topic that he chose tonight to deal with this. And he's like, okay.
I ain't choose to do it. This was really supposed to be a short segment. We were supposed to be talking about the forgiveness, but
hey, twin. Yeah.
This was supposed to be a short segment, but it turned out to be the whole hour and 30 minutes. But it was some good stuff. We talked about some good stuff, though. We talked about some good stuff. My wife looking at me like, Negro, you need to be delivered.
I ain't say nothing.
You ain't got to say it. I know it. Tell by the facial expression. Like, tag, and share. Yeah, like, tag, and share this one. For real. Again, like I said, if you like us, you'll like it. You'll love us. If you don't want to be selfish, share it.
I say share it if the Lord leads you to. If you know somebody needs to hear this message.
Everybody needs to hear the message. Share it.
My motto is, if we reach one person by just being honest and by being transparent.
What the Bible say? One can put what a flight, two can put how many a flight? That's what we trying to do. We try and get them 10,000.
But and this is not this is our blessings. Thank you so much for getting on. I love you, sis. And so this is a place where we're going to be honest. We're going to be ourselves. And there's gonna be some times where we have touchy subjects, and that's okay. We're gonna have touchy, topics, and sometimes the Lord will show you, like, hey, you still holding on to this. Like, I know a couple of weeks ago when we was on, like, I was kind of like in my feelings. And I'm like, Lord, let me get this together and let me deal with it. Guess what I did deal with it? I went in counseling. You hear me? And so I'm thankful that God has told us to do this.
God.
And that we can be obedient to do what God has called us to do. But that if there is you and you saying, hey, I'm still dealing with hurt from people in the church, from people, because our church is just people, yeah, you need to have your hands up. Come on here.
I surrender.
And we have to that's right, surrender. We got to give it to the Lord, and we have to deal with this thing so that we can overcome the hurt, overcome the pain. I know Michelle, we was talking about you earlier.
That's right. Michelle didn't like me for a long period of time.
And guess what, y'all? It's because not only that, because she was hurt. My twin sister was hurt. And see, that's the thing that Rodney has to understand. People were hurt by this. Not just Rodney.
Your sister get passed though.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Because that's your sister. That's different. That's family.
But you don't think people in the church that we're connected to, that we're bonding with, is still not family? That they're not going to be hurt?
That's your twin sister. That's blood. That's blood. That's a different story. I'm sorry, I hit the table. That's a different story.
Well, I've had people in church that was close to me like a sister. You ain't gonna play my twin sister like that.
Did. And you know it's true. No need to sit up here and act like.
My sister know the Lord too.
She do know the Lord.
You see that, Michelle? I see why now.
You see why what? Okay.
You was holding these grudges. I'm just joking. The stuff you be saying, babe. But now my twin sister loves Rodney.
She do. She check up on me. She check on my health and everything.
It took about 3 years, but we here.
Yeah. Because definitely in the beginning, she definitely didn't like me in the beginning either. But it's okay.
I'm not going to say that she didn't like you, right?
She didn't know me.
Right.
So that equates to not liking me.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we'll have to put this on pause. Like, well, next time when we talk about this, he's going to have a whole different perspective, whole different point of view, because he's going to be healed and whole, and he's going to be able to get on here and say, you know what? These people was hurt. They just didn't know. They didn't know. God needed to deal with them.
All right. I still won't give no excuse. I don't care how hurt you was. At the end of the day, if you was a child of God, you should have been restored.
But have you restored everybody before when you seen them in a broken place?
So what?
Have you did that for everybody? Like, you still have to give people grace.
I give them grace. That's why I don't put my mouth on them.
Okay. I give you that.
Yeah, I don't put my mouth on them. I don't say, I pray for them. I might not like go up to them and coddle them, but I still speak. And I still say, glad to see you, love you, all that type of stuff like that. And I pray for them.
All righty.
Yeah. So we're going to end on that note. Y'all, again, like, tag, share. But I want to end with love lifted me. Oh, love lifted me. When nothing else could help. Y'all, I can't sing. But
what would you have done if your pastor was married and he did the same thing?
Lifted me. So if my pastor was married and he did the same thing, I'm gonna be honest, this is exactly what I would do. I wouldn't talk to him in front of everybody else. I would call him. First of all, I'm gonna call him, see how he doing, and see if it's the truth or if it's a lie. If it's a lie, we're gonna keep on moving. If it's the truth.
No, she said if Pastor was married and he did the same thing what you did. If Pastor was married to somebody and he ended up talking to somebody else in the church, like how would you handle that?
I cover him. I'm gonna cover him 100%. I'm gonna cover him and I'm gonna pray for him and I'm gonna restore. I can't restore him, but I'm gonna pray for his restoration and I'm gonna encourage him every chance I get. Because again, just because he made a bad choice does not mean he's a bad person. He just made a bad choice. Period. And everybody on this live, everybody that's going to watch this replay, everyone has made a bad choice. But that does not mean that you are a bad person. And that does not mean God has thrown you away because you made a bad choice. So, of course, the initial reaction is going to be like, dog, Pastor, why you do that? But at the end of the day, I'm going to look at it from the spiritual eye. Okay, maybe number one, the devil don't like covenant. So he's going to do any and everything he can to break up marriage and to break up covenant. So that's the point of view I'm going to have from it. I'm going to look at it from that point of view, and I'm going to cover. Again, I'm going to cover. Because that's my leader. And even if it weren't my leader, that is a man of God. That is a person of God. It is my job to cover them and to help them get back to the place that they need to get to. And show that love towards them. That no, just because you made a bad choice, just because you didn't do what you were supposed to do does not mean that God has thrown you away.
And that is the message of the night.
Because it was love.
So that is the message of the night. If somebody is dealing with that right now and you feel like you were thrown away because of the bad choice, like, hey, you're not thrown away. Like God is... That's distracting. I can't... Go ahead, baby. Sing. Go ahead and sing.
No, go ahead and say your word. I sang my song after that.
Okay, baby. But I just want you to know that if that's you and you say that you have been dealing with this, dealing with that hurt, and I think that was such a great point. Just because I made a bad choice doesn't mean I'm a bad person. So if that's you and you say that you have made some bad choices, because we all have, I want you to know that God is able to heal you. He's able to deliver you, and he loves you. The main thing in this message is getting up, repent, and let's get right. And we need to take the proper steps to get healed from our brokenness. And that's the message that I want to say when it comes. If you are that person that's been hurt in church, if you've been hurt by people in the church, let's get healed from that. Let's not stay in that place where it results from us not having a relationship with God and getting back in right fellowship. So that's what I want to say. And if you say, hey, I need to talk, I need to deal with this, like, hey, inbox me. I mean, hey, I might not have all the right answers, but I can tell you who does. Jesus do. And I can always direct you to some amazing counselors, to some people where you can get some help from. Get some help. Because that's what this is all about. We're telling you from our experiences what we dealt with. Of course, you know, Rodney gave his perspective. I gave mine. Because we were both in the same situation, but we both had different eyesights when it came to this because of the places where we was at. So, you know, I want to see each and every one of you win. I want to see y'all succeed. I want to see you healed and whole, you know. And so I want you to know that you're not alone and that you can get through that hard place, whatever the hard place may be, especially in marriage. It's work. But what God ordains, guess what? He will what? He will sustain. He will
'Cause
sustain you.
yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. I know I can't sing, but yes, Jesus loves me. 'Cause the Bible, take y'all back to Sunday school. 'Cause the Bible tells me so.
For the Bible tells me so.
What'd I say?
Cause.
Oh, for the Bible tells me so. What's the song where he say he loved me first? Jesus loves me first. I don't know. I forgot.
What?
Ain't it a song that said he loved me first? Jesus loves me first.
I don't know what song you're talking about right now.
He loves me. Oh, how he loves me. Oh, how he loves me. How he loves me so. They won't let me sing at church, so I got to sing on my own platform because he loves me.
Now you've sung at the church before. Don't
y'all won't let me be on the praise scene. Oh, how he loves me.
You got to stick to what God has called you
to. Oh, how he loves me. How he loves me.
But so. I'm gonna say this. I want to end on this note. Yes, we went through some things in our church. And I'm going to say it was most definitely a learning experience. But I love my church family. And
I love them.
Right.
Now,
can I get?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I love my church family. We rock together. They seen us at our worst times. No, everybody didn't agree. Some people loved, some people didn't. Hey, it is what it is. But I'm still thankful for them. I'm thankful for my pastor because, I know it was hard for him dealing with us.
We put him through some stuff. So
I am thankful because that was something that we experienced and we learned something out of it, and so I could say that I ain't gonna say that. Let me not even say that. I'm just gonna say this. I love my church family. Right. And so I don't want y'all to be thinking like, man, they was doing it. No, this is just a place that we was just at in 2020.
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago. And sometimes people still is holding on to a little bit of stuff from 3 years ago where they just got to get healed from.
Don't be trying to throw no shots. Don't throw no shots now.
Babe, I had to just put a little humor in it. I had to put a little humor in it.
But since this is Clergy Appreciation Month, we do want to say that we do love our pastor, Pastor Daryl M. Stackhouse II. We love him so much. He has taught us. He has loved on us. He has covered us. He is an amazing, he's an amazing pastor. I can't ask for nobody better. He is not afraid to he is not afraid for us to be used. He is not afraid of our gifts or anything.
And he cares about your soul.
And he cares about your soul.
That's the main thing.
He cares about our soul. So if y'all could tag him in this, please, somebody tag his name in this. I don't care. Tag him in it. Tag him in it because I want him to know that the Footmans love him very much and we appreciate everything that he does. And I'm telling you that he is a true man of God. True man of God. And all the other clergy in our church, all the ministers, elders, deacons.
Just everybody.
Everybody. We love you. We love you.
We appreciate you because we know that, it's not easy all the time. And sometimes you do feel like in a towel, but some of you are still going and pursuing the will of the Lord.
So again, we thank y'all for tuning in to Love and Transparency. We'll see y'all again next week at 8 o'clock, same time, same place.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fearless Footmans. Subscribe to YouTube channel, Fearless Footmans. Subscribe to YouTube channel, Fearless Footmans. All right, let me quit. But y'all be blessed. Y'all have a good night.